Welcome back. Today we're diving into Avengers Armageddon issue number 1, a world on a brink of total collapse. Following the downfall of Dr. Doom, a massive power vacuum has left the globe fractured. General Thunderbolt Ross has gone completely rogue, using gamma-powered super soldiers to seize control of Latveria, renaming it New America, in a twisted crusade to force democracy onto the world by any means necessary. As the United Nations and the world's heroes scramble to react, a massive geopolitical storm is brewing. Let's see how it all unfolds. We open up with a close-up of General Ross's face, snarling with rage. This is a man who feels entirely betrayed by the system he spent his whole life defending. He starts laying out his core philosophy, venting about the sheer incompetence he sees everywhere around him. Weakness. It feels like all my life I fought against it. Weakness in the people around me, in our institutions, in Americans' actions on the global stage. We should have stopped Doom years ago. Instead, he imprisoned me. Took over the world for more than a moment. For Ross, this is the ultimate sin. While Dr. Doom was actively taking over the planet, America just sat on the sidelines and did absolutely nothing. The United States government wouldn't act. Ross decided to take matters into his own hands. We get a shot revealing a high-tech lab. Standing in the foreground is a massive blue-skinned Hulk soldier, while Captain Doak stands inside an energy chamber, preparing for his departure. Ross's inner monologue continues, justifying his aggressive military coup over Dr. Doom's former kingdom. He says, and America sat to the side again, so I stepped in, took Latveria, made it safe and ready for democracy. Captain Doak speaks up, letting the general know they are fully on track to deploy at 0200 hours. Ross commands him to make sure his Gamma Charger is placed in their remote base with extra security guards. We are in the ruins of Dr. Doom's old capital, which has now been rebranded as New America. General Ross walking through the wreckage with his super soldier forces, establishing total dominance. When asked about the locals, a Blue Hulk confirms, "No sir, after Salvation's defeat, any potential rebel groups reconsidered their options. Most have fallen in line." Ross learns that the US government is distancing itself from the extreme occupation, but he completely dismisses their bureaucratic weakness. This is the problem with the world, Ortega. Why monsters like Doom get the jump on us. Because we're all talk and afraid of action. He orders his men to raise the new flag, declaring it's time for the democratic dream to be felt by everyone, by force. We cut to the United Nations, where Madame Secretary General Miss Riani is watching a live broadcast of General Ross addressing the world, as we hear him say, "My name is General Ross, and I'm going to give you back your power, your democracy." The UN officials quickly realize that Ross isn't stopping with Latveria. Satellite tracking confirms his troops are already marching south towards Simkaria. It's a blatant message, they say. Ross is targeting hybrid regimes and any nation that doesn't advance toward democracy at his preferred speed. Reed Richards offers the full support of the Fantastic Four to the UN. However, Ms. Riani completely shuts him down, blaming superheroes for creating the power vacuums that allow dictators to rise, as she points her finger at him saying, "Dr. Richards, apologies, but you're part of the problem. You and your fellow self-described heroes. I'm tired of standing on the sidelines as people with powers do whatever they want while the human casualties keep piling up." She explicitly blames the Fantastic Four's historical ego clash with Dr. Doom for his original takeover and orders Reed out of her office, stating she will advise the Security Council to hit Ross and his superpowered followers hard. We switch to a somber medical bay, where severely injured Steve Rogers is hooked up to life support. Bucky Barnes watches over him in silence before Sam Wilson walks in and says, "It's time, let's go." Outside, the world's heroes are gathered. The Fantastic Four, Captain Marvel, Vision, and Namor, all gathering near a Stark aircraft. The political tension is palpable as Carol Danvers questions their position as she asks, "So we're supposed to sit back? We're the enemy?" Namor scoffs at the UN, reminding them that they've rejected Atlantis' petitions for membership multiple times out of fear of their power. Sam Wilson and Bucky arrive. Sam comforts Carol, assuring her that Steve Rogers is a fighter. It'll take more than the Red Hulk to kill him. As Spider-Man swings into the scene, breaking the heavy tension with his signature nervous humor. Is this the meeting for Heroes Anonymous? My name's Spidey. I'm addicted to getting blamed for bad guys doing bad things. Ben Grimm tells him he's never not joking, but the playfulness quickly fades as Susan Storm asks Vision what Tony Stark is up to inside his hangar. Vision ominously replies that Tony is working and watching. The heroes enter Stark facility to find Tony Stark sitting inside a massive wired cybernetic pod, pulling off an old-school Iron Man helmet. Johnny Storm asks if he can try out whatever video streaming device Tony is using, but Tony responds grimly, "It's not for videos, Johnny. It's for everything." Tony continues to explain that ever since Doom's reign, he hasn't been able to forgive himself for not seeing it coming. He built the Iron Alert system, a predictive network that sifts through global data to flag impending threats before they happen. Ben Grimm points out that he already know Ross is a threat, but Tony reveals a much deeper, terrifying reality. He's more than that, Ben, he says. The system is seeing his moves, and well, they're perfect, with a high degree of future success in taking the entire planet and beyond. Tony drops the ultimate bombshell. Ross is using his own advanced predictive technology. A giant red alert flashes as Tony warns, he's already won. Now shift directly to the front lines in Symkaria. Local soldiers are laughing off the rumors of an incoming attack, believing no one would be stupid enough to launch an invasion right after the fall of Doom, when suddenly their radar cuts out. Looking skyward, they are horrified to see General Ross fully transformed into the Red Hulk, leading a flying squad of super soldier Hulks raining down right on top of them. Meanwhile, Tony Stark and Bucky Barnes have traveled to New Orleans to recruit Rogue and Wolverine. Rogue is highly hesitant to get involved in human political conflicts. She says, "Ignoring the UN, we X-Men have been around long enough to know its mutants will take the fall for that if we join in." Wolverine steps up, noting that S.H.I.E.L.D. is back and Nick Fury is already off searching for his own massive firepower. Wolverine offers an alternative though, mentoring a former soldier he recently met who just got a massive upgrade. When Tony asks how big the power upgrade is, Wolverine appears in the shadows, tipping his hat and answering, "Big." Cut back to New York, where the UN Security Council passes a resolution of a 12-3 vote. Member states are authorized to use all necessary means to stop the invasion of countries by the new terrorist group, New America. The decree is effective immediately. Watching this broadcast from high above his tech-advanced kingdom, Black Panther prepares his own defenses, declaring, "Agreed, Amara. Countries have a right to defend themselves against invasions, and Wakanda is no exception." Back to Symkaria, as we see chaos reigning, the Hulk soldiers are easily tearing through the army. General Ross says, "They're retreating." A soldier asks him, "That's good, right, sir?" As General Ross responds, "It means we move on to the next phase." All of a sudden, the U.S. military gets involved and attacks all the Hulks. They're joining the Symkaria army as we see new tanks and helicopters appear. The general yells, "We'll clear out all the land forces and take the capital, where we take down the world's armies." Shift to the Pentagon in Virginia. We see a lone, heavily built man wearing a tattered jacket over a Captain America-inspired uniform approaching security gates. The guards demand ID and tell him to put his hands over his head. Instead, he completely demolishes the reinforced steel gate with his raw physical power, despite a hail of bullets from the guards screaming, "Lone white male with powers." The bullets bounce right off him. He walks right down into the facility, telling the armed response team inside, "You're going to want to stand down." He reaches the inner labs. The facial recognition identifies him as David Colton, super soldier program of 01. Before the scientists can fully process the danger, Colton bursts through the wall, looking directly at a terrified doctor and saying, "Dr. Saref, been a while." Just as Colton confronts the doctor, the heavy hitters arrive. Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, and Captain America, Sam Wilson, burst onto the scene. Carol blasts Colton away, yelling, "Get away from them now!" Colton defends himself, throwing a piece of machinery to shield the scientist, stating, That's not necessary. I wasn't going to hurt them. Carol isn't buying it and rushes him. The brawl concludes brutally. Carol tries to arrest him, but Colton overpowers her with a shocking ease, leaving her dazed on the ground. He explains his true motives. I don't want to hurt people. I'm here to save them by shutting down the super soldier programs so that what happened to me doesn't happen to anyone else. Wilson tries a different approach. He throws the Captain American shield at full force at Colton's head. Colton turns slightly and catches it with ease. Sam then appeals to Colton's past. We want to protect people too. You were a hero once. Time to suit up again and make an actual difference. As Wolverine, entirely unbothered by Colton's destruction, bluntly says, "You're a hand grenade tossed at ants, bub. We're looking to toss you at a real enemy. This is Avengers level, Colton." Colton responds, "But these people, what they've done," Wolverine says, "then smash it all down and come with us. I don't give a flying F." Carol recovers as Logan convinces Sam that Colton has earned his grudge, given what the government put him through. Recognizing the scale of the global threat, Colton decides to join forces with him. He hovers into the air, looks down at the team, and delivers the final line. "Better to have me with you than against you. Okay, Logan, tell me what's my next target." To the Avengers hangar bay, where all the heavy hitters have come to join the fight. Spider-Man, looking at the sheer scale of the operation, voices his concerns to Tony Stark. "Tony, this is a war, like with multiple countries." He admits this is way above his pay grade as a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, noting that the political fallout will be insane. Tony understands, admitting that if Steve Rogers asked, everyone would follow him to hell and back. But Stark gives Peter a pass, validating his role, saying, "If we're all out there, who's here? Who's going to help people when Wilson Fisk starts a gang war or Doc Ock takes hostages? It's okay, really. Stay and protect the people of New York." Tony introduces Peter to David Colton, who is standing alongside Sam Wilson. Tony explains Colton's background. David had a stint as Captain America back in the early 2000s, but he retired after the super soldier process wrecked his heart. Luckily, I was there to replace it with an arc reactor. Colton shakes Spidey's hand, praising the web slinger. "I've been following your work for years. You help people. Even when you're down and get kicked, you still help. We need more people like you." Suddenly, the conversation is interrupted by a hologram call from Madame Secretary General Rihanna. She informs Reed Richards and the gathered heroes that Operation United Strike is underway, with 5 nations taking on General Ross and his rogue factions. Political tension boils over as the Secretary explicitly warns the heroes against intervening. "I know you're planning to join in, to ignore international law, because it's what you do. I'm here to tell you that if you take away mankind's authority once again, I will do everything in my power to take you in and make you accountable for once in your lives." Reed coolly replies, "Appreciate the warning, Secretary General," while Tony aggressively cuts the transmission, muttering, "And we'll take it under advisement." All the heroes look to Tony as Tony slams his Iron Man faceplate down. Filled with absolute fury, he makes it clear that this is about geopolitics. He says, "I think I speak for all of us when I say I have some words for Secretary General, the coalition, and especially for Ross, the beast who put our friend Steve Rogers, the best men I know, into a coma. 2 words, in fact. Avengers, assemble." Flying high above the city alongside the Avengers Quinjet, we see Iron Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Namor, Vision, David Colton, and members of the Fantastic Four charging into battle. The stage is set for an all-out war. What do you guys think of David Colton joining the lineup? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you on the next video.